gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Como pueden entender, no hablar español, hablar italiano. Per simplicidad me exprimerás en inglés. And espero que puedan entender el inglés. In any case, the slides will be in Spanish, translated by Spaniards, so they are correct. And you have also a document here in Spanish that summarizes my talk. And if you go on our website, there is a full speech in Spanish. So I hope everything will be clear. And then if you have any question, you can ask at the end. Hopefully you understand me, correct? Yeah. No, everybody said no. Okay, that's a problem. Okay. I have to start with this, and I want to thank Ricardo, of course, and my friend Horacio at FoP and all the team for organizing this and putting together and filling the room. And I have to say, Spain is my favorite country because you have the best olive oil, you have the best ham, you have the best cheese, you have the best meat, the best football players, the best football teams, but after Italy. I use the same joke when I go to France. In France, I say, you have the best, the best, the best. And I say, after everybody else. and then they get offended. Okay, but it's France. Hopefully nobody's from France here. It's incredible when we travel around Europe, and every time we organize an event and we talk about etiquetas, it's full of people. And so I'm thinking, now we are, inventing artificial intelligence, people are flying to Mars, to the moon, and people are doing incredible surgery, but still there are people that are interested in piece of paper, okay, that you put on a product, and it's very incredible. So I wonder, how is it possible that we are developing artificial intelligence and then we are so much interested in small piece of paper on a food product? And the reason is because behind these etiquetas, behind the labels and the claims, you have principles and you have a different way of looking at the world, so a different perspective to the world. And incredibly, in Europe and elsewhere around the world, in many regions around the world, claims and labels are used as tools for public policy. So public policy when it comes to health. So the idea is, by using some labels and claims, we can improve, or we could improve, or we think we can improve the health of people. So this is an interesting perspective, and Europe has already a regulation around this. And now the idea is how to make this regulation better and how to improve it. Particularly inside or in the context of the Green Deal, is to use labels to make our diets more balanced, more sustainable, and healthier. This is at least what the European Commission stated 4 years ago within the Green Deal, and particularly in the Farm to Fork, and in the idea of reforming the regulation on front-to-pack labels. And what is the problem that we have? The problem is a serious problem. So where this is coming from is very serious. And here I have some numbers. I'm not reading all of them, but the numbers are that there are over 2 billion people that are overweight. And there are almost 650 million people that are obese. And it's more worrying because it's in children as well. And if we look at the data in Europe, everywhere in the world, I know Spain has a better position, but if we look at Italy, obese kids are growing and growing. So there is an issue with obesity, there is an issue with gaining fat, and there is an issue on the related diseases to obesity and what we call bad nutrition. And obesity has certain problems or certain consequences, and the consequences are on the person, so on the psychology of people, and they are also on the economy. So when you have a society that is gaining weight, there are proofs that there might be slowing down in productivity or negative impacts on label. And there are some studies that are demonstrating that for the first time in the next 10 years, the life expectancy of population might decrease for the first time, might go down because of bad nutrition. And this is not just in developing countries, this is in rich countries like Spain or Italy. In other words, we have a lot of food, but we are eating this food in a very bad way or poor way. Now we will see later on whether this is true or not. So the European Union thought that it's time to reduce or contribute to the reduction of obesity and bad nutrition and related disease by using some tools. And among these tools, here I have created a collection. We have some front-of-pack labels, or what you call the etiquetado frontal. And here you have some example. Some are numeric, some are more simple. You certainly recognize the Swedish keyhole that is just used to say this is a healthy product, or you recognize some other system like the Nutri-Score, the traffic light, or the black dots that are used controversially, for instance, in a Spanish speaking country like Chile, where they are using the black dots when a product contains salt or saturated fats or sugar. In Europe, the discussion has been for the past few years on the introduction of simplified schemes and evaluative schemes like the Nutri-Score, or alternatively, this is one of the last version, or at least the last rumors that the European Commission was leaking and releasing, is using the star rating system that Australia has adopted a few years ago. So you are familiar, I'm sure, with a system like the traffic light system or the Nutri-Score, where what is measured through an algorithm is the quantity of certain ingredients in a product. So some ingredients are considered to be positive ingredients, some ingredients are considered to be negative. For instance, saturated fat, sugar, and salt are considered to be negative. Other vitamin, proteins, and other nutrients are considered to be positive. And by mixing them and calculating the mix that you create, you have a system, rating system with colors. So red is bad, green is good. With the Australian system is somehow similar, where you have points and stars instead of colors. There are some mixed version of the two, but we are not going into details, but if you want, you can, of course, discuss later on. So this seems to be a very simple and easy solution. In other words, you go to the supermarket, you see the color on the product, and you say, this is green, is good and healthy for me, this is red, is unhealthy for me. And it seems to be a very simple solution. It seems to be a solution that should solve the problem and make all of us healthier. But if we look at the first results and the first scientific studies, unfortunately, there are no positive results. In other words, people are not getting healthier, particularly where systems like the Nutri-Score have been used. In France, there are no results that the number of obese people is being reduced. There are no proofs that people are eating a more balanced diet. Is it true that systems like the Nutri-Score have been around just for a few years, so scientifically you don't have enough time to make a precise study, but certainly the results expected are not coming. Then we have to ask a question though. Is the problem with obesity or bad nutrition linked to what we eat, the nutrients, or is linked to something else? So at our Policy Institute, where we are not nutritionists, but we have engaged with nutritionists and medical doctors for more than three years now, we have asked which is the reason behind obesity and which is the reason behind bad nutrition. And we found out that nutrients are not the problem. Nutrients could be a part of the problem, but the real problem is linked to, for instance, our DNA, is linked to our metabolism, and is linked, for instance, to our lifestyle, to the way we live. As a matter of fact, we said more times that the problem is not what we eat, but the problem is how we eat and how we live. In other words, el problema no es qué comemos, sino cómo vivemos. That is the problem. And if we look at systems like the Nutri-Score or a like system, they are not considering how we live, okay, how we consume calories, or how we intake calories, but they are just focusing on specific nutrients, being sugar, being saturated fats, and so on. Instead, if we look at, for instance, at kids today in Spain, like elsewhere in the world, we realize that yes, they might eat some too much sugar in some cases, it's absolutely true, but it's also that they don't play anymore. They don't run, they don't go out and play as we did, or our generation, my generation, some of you are much younger than me, did in the past. So problem again is not what we eat, but the problem is how we live. And the question is, are systems like the Nutri-Score, a like system investigating how we live? The answer is no, they don't. They are based on portions and they are based on a mix of nutrients. And in some cases, the nutrients are considered negative with the 40 points, or they are considered positive with the 15 points. They don't consider our full diet. So in other words, you go to the supermarket, it tells you this product is healthy, this product is not healthy, but it doesn't consider who I am. And it considers all of us equal. In other words, one fits all. But as we know in this room, we're all different. If now we take 1 spoon of sugar, or if we take 1 spoon of Nutella or chocolate, the impact that spoon will have on each of us is completely different. Some of you now are going out for a run, some of you are going back to the office, some will be on Netflix all day, some will be on the couch, some will have a very stressing life. So the impact of that spoon of sugar on each of us is completely different. And unfortunately, these systems are not considering this lifestyle and these differences that each of us have. So there is a problem with the algorithm, of course, but there is also a problem with the thinking behind these algorithms. And again, we can go into more details on this. And if you go on our websites, we publish studies by more than 320 researchers, not just Italian or Spanish, but worldwide researchers that are demonstrating the scientific and nutritionist weakness of the Nutri-Score. But as a policy institute, we wanted to go a bit beyond of this. So we didn't just focus on the nutrient, we didn't just focus on the algorithm, but we focus on what is behind systems like the Nutri-Score. And we thought that these systems are reflecting the past. They reflect society, how they were based 200 years ago, like a Hegelian society, where a small group of scientists, parentheses French, are designing what is healthy and what is not healthy. And this to us, in a liberal society, in a liberal perspective, is extremely dangerous, because the consumer is not educated to make a choice. The consumer is driven to make a choice. In other words, you go to the supermarket, you see green, and you are guided to think this is healthy. But you don't know whether this is really healthy for you or it's not healthy for you. It tells you it's bad, but you don't really know whether it's bad. And the classic example, it's green, and you buy 10 because it's green, and you eat 10 because it's green. You find one that is red, and you don't eat it, when maybe could be good for you, and maybe you need it because, I don't know, you are depressed and you need some chocolate. So the problem is that our critical thinking is a bit undermined. So you go there, you are not invited to think as human beings should do, but you are invited just to choose. And this to us is a very threatening limit to individual freedom. Individuals should be able to make a free choice, and in a democratic, advanced society, people should be free to make choices. Wrong or good, but make choices. And what they need is not to be told what to do, but is to be educated, to receive information and knowledge, to make critically thinking choices. But there is another problem that I mentioned earlier, and the problem is diversity. All of us in these rooms are different, so what we eat, how we live has a different impact on us. So our weight, our nutrition depends not on what we eat, as I said, but how we behave. And these systems, like the Chilean star system, the Australian system, the Nutri-Score, the traffic light, are ignoring this. They consider all of us equal. And this is creating a problem of freedom and diversity, but it's also creating a problem for business. Because if you are a business representing a local diet, a local culture, local food, and maybe your food happens to be red, fat, salty, sugar, you will be forced in a way to reformulate your recipe to make your product look green, look healthy. Not being better, looking healthy, according to what a small group of scientists somewhere, maybe in Paris, is deciding for us. And we think that this is a threat to local diets, not just the Mediterranean diets. It's not just the problem of the Mediterranean diet. It's a problem with all diets around the world. It's a problem with all cultures around the world. Nutri-Score or a like system are penalizing diets in Italy, in Spain, in Greece, Mediterranean, but also in Poland, also in Sweden, also in Russia, in Ukraine, anywhere. Because companies will be told, if you are not green, people will not eat you. People are forced to eat green. And if you are a small company in the middle of Spain, you have to say, should I be red or should I be green? And if you are a small company, you can't choose. Sometimes if you do ham, olive oil, you cannot say, okay, I'm getting green. You simply cannot reformulate your product. If you are a big company, of course, a multinational, maybe a French one or a Swiss one, you can change your recipe. Or you can get to the shelf with two recipes, a green one and a red one. But if you are a small company, you cannot make that. I call this, in a provocative way, the iPhoneization of food. Okay? Creating one food that fits all the world in an economy of scale. And this is very legitimate. Companies should look for economy of scale. It's fine. It's their business. Like Nike or iPhone, Apple, they need to make universal products because it's an economy of scale or an occasion economy. But when it's about food, do we want a universal food? And do we want just to have one food that fits all, one taste? Personally, I think, well, if people want it, yes, but it should not be forced. It should not be imposed by legislation. The iPhone is successful because it has gained the market value and share, because people like it. But food is trying to become universal by using labeling schemes, by saying, I'm healthy, everybody should eat me. And this is a dangerous trend that we see worldwide, that is pushed by big philanthropy in Norway, in Sweden, in the United States, who are pushing for the universal diet, a diet that fits all, a universal diet that should be sustainable and should be healthy. Well, if it's a great dream, on the other side, I think it's very dangerous for where we come from, for our diversity, and for our culture and diets. And I was told in Italy, don't do it because it might be offensive, but I said, well, we need to provoke a bit. And I said, if systems like the Nutri-Score work well, that is not the case, and if the concept behind works well, then we should apply the Nutri-Score to everything that causes real obesity. And we should apply it to our life objects. Because if we get fat, it's because we use the phone all the day. If my son is not playing football, it's because he's on the couch with a PlayStation. Or if we are, not moving, it's because we are on Netflix all day. So we should put a life score, as I call it, on every object of our life. And we'll see that the bicycle, it's definitely green, the electric bike might be orange, and even the toilets. If you sit, obviously you're consuming less calories. If you stand, you're consuming more calories because you're doing your squat, okay? Obviously, this is a provocation, but it shows you how this system, with all the respect, risks to become ridiculous. Because if you apply it to food, then you have to apply it to everything. Now we are not consuming calories. You're sitting here, you should go out and run a bit if you want to be healthier, okay? So what is the solution? Because then people say, okay, what is the solution? Well, the solution is not really provocative. Some members of parliament in Brussels told me, this is the future, we need to think about the present. No, this is the present, not the future. It's not a remote future, it's a present. Artificial intelligence is here, Internet of Things is here, the watches you have on your arm are here, and these watches, guys, are not meant to watch the time, and they are not meant to receive emails. They are meant to tell you in real time how you feel. The nutrients, the diabetes, any particular issue you might have. And this is going to be shared all over. You go to the restroom, you saw this in Las Vegas, you go and you make your pee, and there is a Internet of Things device that measures your urine, and it tells you in real time what's going on with you, okay? Your watch can tell you now about diabetes in real time. You don't have to go to the doctor. It tells you in real time, and it's connected to your phone. So if we look today at medical research, you know exactly that there are advanced research, particularly in Israel, on DNA. So based on your DNA, you more or less know what you can eat more or what you should eat less. Again, it informs you. It doesn't tell you what to do. It informs you about who you are. And in real time, you know what you need. You need proteins or you need vitamins, and the watch and the phone will tell you. And again, guys, this is not the future. It's here now. What is a great opportunity or a challenge, is that if now you feel that you need proteins or your phone tells you you need proteins, it's also based on some variables. For instance, variables number one is you are going to the gym tonight and you should take proteins now. Or in the kitchen, you don't have proteins, or you have proteins in your refrigerator. So everything is connected with you, and you see the great opportunity or the great challenge. And at the same time, a supermarket outside here now knows that Horacio, for instance, needs some sugar, and right away, he delivers to Horacio a bar of chocolate or whatever. So this is an extraordinary opportunity. You don't even have to go to the supermarket. This is the big challenge. We told the European Commission, in 10 years, who will go to the supermarket? Not the new generations. They will buy everything online, or the AI, artificial intelligence, will buy things for us right away without us knowing it. So we get something on the table, say, why is it here? You need it. So again, this is an opportunity, and in a way I like it, but at the same time it's a big challenge. Think about data, not data about, we watch porn or we watch TV. It's data about our DNA. It's data that can be used or misused, manipulated. It's about the algorithm that artificial intelligence uses. Who runs the algorithm? Governments, private companies, Amazon, who else is using it? So there is a problem of neutrality. Something is, you need sugar and you order what you want. Something is the algorithm chooses for you. So we told the European Commission, look, don't really waste time with the past. Nutri-Score, traffic light, even the Italian Nutri-Inform is the past. What is the future that is the present is what we see here with the personalized diet. The personalized diet is a great opportunity because it's designed on each of us, but at the same time is a big threat. Data, neutrality of the algorithms. And we said to the European Commission, the risk is in 10 years, Europeans will have fancy pop art, Andy Warhol, colorful labels on the product, and we will enjoy them. But our kids will not go to the supermarket and might use artificial intelligence developed by the United States, developed by China, developed by Russia, by Iran, or by Middle East countries, and not by Europe. And I don't think that this is a great opportunity for us. It's a great opportunity if we think about what is happening and what will happen in the past, in the future. So for the discussion is, personal diets are a great opportunity, but at the same time, they are a great threat. And I think our focus now should be on what will happen next and not what happened in the past. These are my contacts if you want to be insulting me or if you want to share information with me. Otherwise, I will be here, and gracias mucho for entenderme, hopefully.